Mother, man.
This is Laura Kovacs, wife of CK, and you're listening to Murder, Metal, Mayhem.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder, Metal, Mayhem!
All right. What's going on, man?
What's up, motherfuckers?
Tuesday, and that means we're doing some Murder Metal Mayhem tonight. We're, of course, at our favorite place, Horns High Studios for the Horns High Podcast Network. But tonight, gentlemen, doing a very special bonus episode, our tribute to the one and only CK.
Yes, sir.
So, Chris, Joey, I got you guys in here with me. Everybody doing all right?
Fuck yeah, dude. After fucking Sunday night, fuck yeah.
Yeah, you guys went to a show, huh?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that was cool, man. I saw that on Facebook. Definitely love to hear about that. Maybe next when we do a metal segment, we'll get into that show. That'd be awesome. And some shows coming up. I know, Joey, you got something going on, and new, tours coming through, and just cool stuff to discuss. Quick around the horn, what T-shirts do we have on for tonight?
Got the yellow and red aborning shirt on, man. Kicking ass. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. With your Goremonger hat.
Goremonger hat.
Hell yeah. Joey?
I got the 419 shirt.
Nice.
Repping that.
Nice.
CK to get a kick out of that.
Hell yeah, he would.
Then I got the Foul Plasty hoodie, and Foul Plasty from Vegas. He's about to drop a new full length. Pretty excited about that. I got this Afro beanie on. And it's funny because out of all the gear that I have, Afro shit is one of the most noticed by like it's shit that's pretty fucking underground. I wouldn't expect nobody to know. But I've been more places with it on where people have like, hey, I love that fucking. And I was at when we were at the show this weekend, the band Flub, like their whole band's from California, except this one guitarist is from Canada. And so I was talking to him about it, and he was like, oh yeah, but I'm from Canada. He's like, I like that beanie, and I was like, cool, man. I was like, that's how awesome how y'all all seem to know about this underground dude.
Right.
So
that is really cool.
So what do you got on, though?
I got this brand new Schizophrenia shirt, man. Fucking loving this from the new album, Recollections of the Insane.
Yeah, that looks really good.
I really dig it.
It's not a pizza?
It came in a pizza box. I posted that on Facebook. The funniest thing, I'd never seen a band ship stuff in pizza boxes, but Schizophrenia does, and Evil Invaders does as well, both Belgian bands. And I laughed when I saw the guy from Evil Invaders buried in pizza boxes, and I sent a message to Lorenzo from Schizophrenia, and he's like, yeah, we told him about it because we know each other. So I thought that was hilarious. So Belgian bands shipping stuff in pizza boxes, that's pretty cool. All right, well, tonight we are doing this very, very special bonus episode. We've been talking about it lately. Many of you have asked when we were going to do an episode on CK. Of course, our good friend and co-host that died in October of 2021, so here just a few months ago. And of course, at first, it was difficult. I mean, we talked about this, guys.
It's never easy when you lose somebody, dude.
No, and we really weren't sure how we wanted to do it, when we would do it. And we thought, with CK's birthday at the March 31st, we thought, how about the last week of March, So that's why we're doing it now. So he's been gone 5 months. It's crazy to think it's been that long. Some days it feels like it's been longer, and then some days it feels like it was just last week. It's weird, So we didn't want to do a sad remembrance of CK, but more a celebration of an amazing person, and to pay him tribute the way I think he would have wanted it done. So spent a lot of time thinking about how to do it. There are so many ways it could have been done. We met a few times about this to try to come up with, the way we wanted to do it. And we thought talking to CK's wife, Laura, since she was the closest one to him, would be great. And did that a couple weeks ago. And great conversation about CK and and what the podcast meant to him, how he prepared,
Man,
which
it
is
meant a
cool.
lot to him for real too.
Really, really good discussion with Laura. So we'll play parts of that for you as this bonus episode unfolds.
And then that interview will be available too, right?
Yeah, I think we're gonna do it the second week of June. Is gonna be a couple of bonus interviews, and I think it'll be that and the interview I did with Tex, because I talked with Tex about CK. And, you know, Tex is, of course, one of our co-hosts, does a lot of episodes with us. And so I'll release the full Tex interview also.
Later,
so
yeah,
that'd
yeah.
be cool. Of course, our 666 clubbers already have heard both of these. But yeah, so that's kind of what we thought we would do tonight. And we got some good clips. We'll share our personal thoughts, what it was like talking to him every week as he fought cancer the way he did. You know, sometimes doing the show when he was very sick. I mean, we've talked about this, how amazing
Like,
perseverance, like a
Dude.
motherfucker.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, holy shit. No matter how sick he was, it seemed, hospital beds,
For
nurses
real.
around him, doing
Priests
like
coming in.
scans of his body as he was doing the show. And I remember him saying to him, you know, I have to do a podcast. Like, a what? A podcast? You're in a hospital bed.
like I got to
He's
do
like, I
this,
can't
man.
miss it, you know. I remember he said that priest walked in the room as
He's
he
like,
said,
it's all
"Fuck,"
right. You can curse.
and
Yeah.
he told him it was okay. Yeah, that was great. So, you know, he just loved Murder Metal Mayhem, and he was very proud of the fact that so many people were listening, and that people, you know, would say how he turned them on to different bands and
bands,
stuff, which is really, really cool, because we heard that over and over and over again. Even ourselves were saying, I know I told him many times,
Oh, yeah.
dude, I forgot about them. You know, I was checking that shit out, man. It's amazing. Thanks for the reminder. We'll play a few things that CK did with us, but I didn't want to weigh this episode down too much with that kind of thing. I've never been a fan of kind of the best of type episodes. You know, you guys that listen have heard it. If you haven't heard it, we'll tell you where to find it. But there's a lot of stuff we did with CK
A
from
whole lot.
May 10th, 2018, which his first appearance was episode 5
My birthday.
on
Yep,
your birthday.
yeah,
There you
his
go.
Birthday.
To episode 154, his last one, which was October 14th, just this last 2021. So that's a lot of episodes.
That's a
That's
shit ton of fun.
149 episodes you could go listen to.
God damn.
All kinds of CK stuff there. So really, if you want to hear it, go back and listen to him. You can scan and see which his topic was. So if you see a band, you know, oh shit, Corrosion of Conformity or whatever, you could go check it out, or Cannibal Corpse, or, you know, he did a wide range of topics. I mean, one of the most well-read metalheads I've ever known. I mean, he knew it all the genres. I mean, he really was into that stuff. So, and there's some bonus episodes in there that he was not on, but there were some that he was. So
Depending on the
again,
topic a
lots of
lot.
stuff you could go check out and listen for yourself. Now, since this is a special bonus episode, there won't be the standard Murder Metal Mayhem format. There's no killer cage match, no karaoke, just CK and how awesome he was at doing what he loved so much. And that was
yeah.
talking about heavy metal and sharing that love with as many fucking people as he possibly could.
Which is fucking great because he definitely knew.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, Chris, Joe, we got a lot on our plate tonight. We're going to be taking a trip to the Hat City Capitol on that 920 to Danbury, Connecticut, to talk about the great metal motherfucker.
Hell
So, Chris,
yeah, dude. Let's get our CK on.
fuck yeah, some old school Fates Warning, like
Warning.
1985. The
Hell
song
yeah.
The Apparition. Playing more bumper music tonight because, of course, that's CK's fucking thing.
What the fuck he did, man. Metal.
Yeah,
All
more
bands
metal
that
the
we
better
knew he
tonight.
loved.
So we're going to play more clips like that from different bands.
He fucking
that
loved
live-
Fate's Warning.
Yeah, he probably among his top 3 bands of all
Right.
time. I tried to come up with bands that CK would have really loved, and pick the songs that I think he would have liked played. So now, as many of you guys know, CK was not always known as CK. He wasn't
What?
born CK, all right?
What? That's weird.
He was born Christopher John Kovacs on March 31st, 1968 in Danbury, Connecticut at the Danbury Hospital. Now, Danbury's about the size of Bloomington, so
Right, yeah,
maybe a
not
little
huge.
bit bigger, but not much. So it's a, city of probably 75,000-ish or so. But the metal gods were definitely smiling. His parents, John and Carol Kovacs, spent his childhood in Bethel, Connecticut, which is a smaller town near Danbury. It's about 20,000 people. And after I moved from the Bronx when I was 6, that's where I grew up as well, was in Bethel. Chris had an older brother, David, who he always said was his main influence. I know he brought him up on more than one
his brother,
occasion.
yeah, definitely.
That's where he was inspired to listen to music and hard rock and metal. So, and he would have been raised in a very typical middle-class household. Now, when he was only 9, 1977, his brother David died in a car accident. This would have been horribly traumatic, but CK would talk about his brother fondly. And like I said, as he influenced him so much into music.
That's
so,
crazy that he was only 9 and his brother influenced him that fucking
right,
much, dude. Like,
right. And he had a pretty big age gap there
right,
too.
yeah.
So the family did move to Florida for a year or so, but came back, and I think that was when he was in junior high. But I'm not sure on that. But it wasn't until high school that I met Chris. He was 2 years behind me at Bethel High School, but we did share some common friends because we were all metalheads, so we all kind of knew each other. And we were at many of the same concerts together. He was even at a party at my apartment, which was an efficiency apartment.
Right, yeah, I've heard
But I don't
stories.
remember like an extended conversation other than, hey, dude, what's up? Kind of thing.
Right.
But it wasn't until much later on that I would become close with him. His father died in 1982 or 83. Laura wasn't sure. His mother died in 2010, and both, I believe, died from cancer. So it was certainly in his
Right,
family.
that's in the fucking, yeah.
Yeah, and Chris went on to graduate the University of Connecticut with a degree in psychology. So I wonder what he thought about us when he
I mean,
talked to our stupid asses every week.
he talked to us every week, so he must have found some fucking...
Must
all,
not have been that bad, right?
It was all fucking comedy to him. Like, what the fuck am I doing, man?
I think I have found the missing link
Right,
there
yeah.
in fucking Hayworth. He worked for Stop and Shop grocery stores, which is a big grocery store chain, kind of like Kroger or Jewel Osco here. He worked there as a teenager up until he got sick. So about 30 years he worked for them. He was an assistant or manager. Last store he was at was Mount Kisco, New York. He was married for a short time before he met Laura, but that didn't last long. But then when these two met, she said it was love at first sight. They were only engaged for a few months. He got married December 10th, 2004. But they were just a really great couple.
Right.
Really super cool. Laura was absolutely unbelievable through this entire ordeal of him fighting cancer. Stronger than most would have been. I mean,
For
she's
sure.
just tough, and very, very loving to him through the whole thing. They lived on the infamous
Wild
Man
Street,
Wild
baby.
Man Street in Danbury, in his big house that was divided into 3 apartments, one on each floor. And that's where he was for the duration of doing the podcast, as we often pointed
Like,
out
he
about
was always
the
doing some
volleyball
crazy
games,
shit, dude.
all that
Wild
shit.
Man.
I'm Wild Man. So anytime I mailed something to him, the lady at the post office would laugh and go, wow, Wild Man Street?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, exactly. Danbury is, like I said, a pretty good-sized city. I did check it is 87,000, so a little bit more than I didn't realize I had actually done the work and Googled it. 87,000. When I lived in Danbury, I would have been about 2 miles from where he was on Wild Man, so very close. On March 5th, 2013, of course, Chris's life would be turned upside down. He's very ill, in pain, urgently taken to Danbury Hospital. Was very quickly discovered he had advanced colon cancer. The doctors gave him a 1% chance to survive the night from the surgery they did.
And he fucking beat that fucking 1% like a motherfucker.
He beat it 666 times because he
Definitely.
lived 8 years, fought it all the way. He would prove them wrong and survive that surgery and then some, with doing various chemo regimens, radiation and chemo, multiple surgeries. I mean, unbelievable what this guy went through, and did it with the fucking horns high the whole time. Didn't give a fuck. It was 2013 when Laura posted something on Facebook that Chris was getting ready to do chemo and was concerned, that he was doing it and he was
It was
worried
when he
about
first
it too.
started doing it. So yeah, he had the fear, he had fear, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I was the same way. So at the time I saw this, and Chris and I were friends on Facebook, but like I said, weren't, didn't really know each other very well. And so I was like, I'd love to reach out and help. So let me help. So we started talking.
Yeah, since you had already gone through chemo and everything, because you had testicular cancer in 2001. So you're just like, hey, man, I know what you're going through. We know each other already. Let's fucking,
Yeah.
I'll talk to you, man.
Exactly. Yeah, it's something go down the wrong pipe here. Sorry about that.
Right.
So we started talking, and I went through it. So told him what was up, but we started talking each week, but we talked about everything but cancer
Right, yeah.
because I went through it, and my mom was calling me like every couple days, and that was awesome, and I loved that she called me. My grandpa called me. I had all kinds of people call me. My dad, my sister. But I was sick of talking about cancer because that's what they want to know. How are you doing? What's going on?
Yeah.
And you get tired of it.
I was like, can I talk about something fucking different for
Right.
once, man? Like,
and,
for
when
real.
I lost my hair, it was easy for me to hide it because I was already bald.
Right.
So I didn't get stopped as much like out in the grocery store because people would have no idea. But somebody that has hair that loses it, it's like very obvious.
Right.
Like, whoa, what's
You
going on? You
okay, dude?
okay?
Yeah.
So we talked about everything else, music. At the time, I was playing in Low 12, and the podcast though was still about 5 years away. So Low 12 disbanded in 2016. I started writing fiction again, and Chris became my beta reader, which, as I've mentioned before, is someone who reads the rough drafts from an author, kind of giving him feedback. And very important job. And I knew it would give him some kind of distraction from dealing with cancer and would help me out with the feedback. So he helped me with Creation of Chaos 1, 2, 3, as well as my novel, The Dreadful Lives of Enoch Strange. He started to work with me on Deeper Than Dead, but got very ill when I was about halfway through. So he was not able to complete that. But he was invaluable in that capacity for years. I mean, it was nice to be able to give him something to keep him busy. At the same time, he was helping me out. So it
He
was
still
great.
went through that as long as he possibly fucking could.
Yeah, it was just great to work with him like that. Now, Chris Shawback and I, we started the podcast April of 2018. Hard to believe, Chris, coming up on 4 years
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
next month. But
I never thought I'd still be sitting here 4 years later.
I know, it's unbelievable. And Chris Kovacs was very excited to hear the podcast. I knew that he had a lot of knowledge about heavy metal, and at the time we thought about just using him for a segment on vinyl, which we didn't really know much about between us. So
Like,
we thought, oh, that'd be cool.
CK had all that shit.
Yeah, so we didn't really know how things were going to go with the podcast at all. I mean, we really didn't know what the fuck we were doing. If you listen to those first few episodes, you could kind of tell that, I think. But we did okay.
Yeah.
And he started in on episode 5. And so as the episodes went on, he continued to gain confidence, as did we, and find kind of our voice and how we were going to do this thing and what worked. And so he started doing band features along the way. And sometimes he did some interviews with me, sometimes not. But CK was just all metal all the time. And so this sounds very shitty on this recording on my end. CK actually doesn't sound bad, but I don't know what the hell I was doing when I was recording this. But again, this would have been episode 5.
Yeah, that's the beginning of the shit.
The very beginning here, May 2018. So let's check out CK's debut. All right. Got my buddy Chris Kovacs here on Skype doing a little Skype interview all the way from Danbury, Connecticut. So, Chris, glad that you're here. We've been talking about doing this now for a while. I know you've been following the podcast, and you've been anxiously awaiting your debut to talk about some metal vinyl. So I knew you were the man to ask about this subject. How much vinyl do you have, dude? You got a lot.
I think I lost count after 600.
Oh, shit.
well, you tripped over it. So
Yeah, exactly. Everybody, if you didn't catch that, went home to visit in September and stayed at Chris and his wife Laura's apartment. They put me up in a spare bedroom where Chris keeps all his CDs, albums, and his wife was a little worried that I would become overcome with the piles. And I did pretty good up until the last day I was there, and I face planted into a pile of something, and I felt like an idiot. And then, Chris, you were in the doghouse for a little while.
Yeah, I got my ass chewed out for that one. She kept on saying, Pete's going to kill himself. I'm like, I'll be fine. And,
Yeah, it was close, man. One day. If I could have made it one day, we would have been fine. But
it's all good. It's all
that's
good.
cool. But, yeah, you're really into vinyl. I know you're mostly, of course, a metalhead, but you like rock and other stuff, too. But for the most part, I know we're going to talk here about metal, and I know our friends from Connecticut there was what you wanted to discuss. So why don't you start off and talk about some Fates Warning?
All right. As maybe most of you don't know, Fates Warning originally from Connecticut. One of my favorite bands. I know Pete loves them as well.
Oh, dude. So there you go. First time on talking about some Fates Warning.
Oh, yeah.
A Connecticut band that we both really liked. It's just a great band. I sounded very muffled there. I'm not really sure what the hell I was doing when I was recording that. But
Would that count as like CK's first Mayhem story too? Talking about like the stacks of CDs and you falling and him getting chewed out and shit. It's kind of a Mayhem story.
It is
right?
kind of Mayhem-ish. Yeah, that's true. Thankfully, not a murder.
Right? Yeah.
But that was long before we were doing the show the way we do now. So if you're hearing that and going, what the heck? That's why. That was in the very, very beginning. Now, since we already had a Chris on the show, we had to come up with a nickname for him. And Chris, you're the one. I don't really remember it. Like, you just started calling him CK, I think.
I did one time. We were talking about something. I think I originally said KC. I was like, wait, hold on. That'd be fucking CK.
I do remember that.
So it's just like, I called him that the rest of the night. And then the next week I was like, hey, dude, if you want me, he's like, no, I fucking love it, dude.
Yeah.
Go ahead and we'll just keep CK. That way we can keep ourselves separated, know who's who and shit. I was like,
exactly.
Yeah,
and so I've got this clip here of Laura talking about what he thought of his nickname. Laura,
CK.
you are royalty here since you were married to the one and only CK, known as Chris Kovacs. But since we had two Chris's, somebody had to be a nickname. So it's funny because Chris Shawback is the one that came up with CK. So we just started calling him CK. And
I have to tell you, he loved it.
Oh,
He
that's
loved
cool.
that.
I never knew that he
CK
liked
was
it
like,
that much.
Oh my gosh, that was the thing.
Oh,
He
that's
thought
really
that was
cool.
awesome. Oh yeah.
That's awesome. I did not know he liked
Well, he
it
said
that
he
much.
never really had a nickname. So
okay.
for that, he thought that was just great.
That's cool. Yeah, Chris came up with it, and it just kind of stuck, and so he's always been CK almost since he's been doing the podcast, and so we're doing this as a part of. So that was cool to hear that.
Fucking never.
I
had a
didn't
nickname
realize it was that special to
Hey,
him.
me
So
either.
that's awesome.
Fucking sweet.
And, right when we built the studio, I wanted to get the cardboard cutout, which is CCK, of course.
Didn't we have
CK.
that in the bedroom?
No, it was out here.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought we give Rich. I thought
Yeah,
that
because
was
I
in the
remember
bedroom.
she was painting out here when I got it.
All right.
So it was like right in the beginning of being out here. CCK. So Cardboard CK has been in here. He's always going to be standing vigil.
Fucking right.
Taking pictures with it. People think he's real in the
Right.
pictures. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I just remember, like, talking about whenever I had you guys come out, Murder Metal Mayhem, out at the Heart of Illinois show.
Right.
And I was like, man, we need to get a fucking screen that we could have VCK. And
Oh,
have
yeah, that's
virtual
right.
CK there with us. Something we never got to do, but that
No,
would've
but
been
you know,
funny.
we try our best, and we put him in Santa hats at Christmas and the green wig of St. Patty's Day, and like to have a little bit of fun.
I mean, you know that I'm going to bring a colander for him for the spaghetti monster.
You have to,
Right?
You have
We got to have one
You
on.
have to. That's a good point. That's a good point. All right. Well, CK would definitely be a nickname that would stick. So let's talk about the next phase of CK here at Murder Metal Mayhem.
Known the world over as the master of metal, the crusher of posers, and Murder Metal Mayhem's knower of all things metal, hailing from Wild Van Street in Danbury, Connecticut, standing at 6 feet of brutal, punishing madness, weighing in at 220 pounds of poser pulverization, the one, the only, toughest bastard on the planet, Chris C.K. Kovacs!
Hell yeah. Some fucking Cry-Six. The
Cry-Six.
song Great Metal Motherfucker could not fit CK any more than that. That's for sure. The original CK theme music.
And I know I've said it before, and I'll just still always say it's fucking when me and Chris were out there in full terror and Cry-Six was playing,
Right.
and this song came on.
Dude,
Like,
it's fucking,
hearing it live, it was just like, yep, that's CK's
that's
song.
CK shit right there.
Yeah,
dude.
isn't that weird? I really regret never trying to reach out to them to let them
Yeah.
know we used it, because I'm sure they would be honored, you know.
Right.
Most metal bands are cool about that. We don't really
Right.
have to worry too much about metal bands suing a podcast like us, because we're fucking supporting
doing
this
shit,
shit
dude.
like fucking hardcore, you know. So now we had CK on for at least a year, maybe more, before he took on the new nickname that so many would know him for, the Great Metal Motherfucker. And I
yeah.
got to give credit where credit's due. Was my son Joe was very persistent. He really likes Cry-Six, and he's
Yeah.
like, Dad, I'm telling you, that song, Great Metal Motherfucker, that's CK. And so he brought it up one time. I listened to it again. I'm like, you know what? That would be really cool, you know? So that's how it went. I came up with that particular intro. It's dated July 2020, but we were calling him that before
Right,
that.
the intro itself, yeah.
Yeah,
didn't get
the
made
intro
till later.
came a little bit later. And we gave him shit about that for being the only one of us that had his own theme music, you know. That was before the PMP intro for you.
Yeah,
Chris.
right. Oh, was it really? God damn. Oh, it was. Shit.
So, Joey, it was the spring of 2020 when you became a full-time part of the podcast. You'd been on before, but you were full-time when the pandemic set in. So what was that like in the early days with CK and your original time here, early time with Murder Metal Mayhem?
Right? Yeah, like you said, basically since you guys have been doing the podcast, I've been fucking peppered in here and there, so people know that they'll listen to all of our episodes. But yeah, like technically, I think April of 2020 or somewhere in there. I think it was like episode 88 or 89. I remember the episode number. That was like it. But that's whenever it was like, you know what? Now I'm coming out all the time.
Right.
We were in the pandemic. I wasn't even working at that
Right.
time because we were
Right.
all. We didn't know. Fuck, the world might never open back up. We had no
Right.
idea what was going
Had
on.
no idea.
So we're like, yeah, man, might as well just fucking do it. And you know, so I started being on regularly.
And CK loved having you part of it
Yeah,
too, which is cool.
and having, you know, not only was I hanging out and being on a bunch of the episodes beforehand, but like I'm an actual listener. Like I listen to every one of the episodes the same as I did in the beginning. I download every one. I listen to them each week. So, I mean, I was already super familiar with everything you guys were doing. And, of course, with CK being the fucking metal guru and
Right.
watching, you know, his growth as far as, like, confidence and the way he presented the metal segments and stuff. So, yeah, that was cool. And not only that, but he, you know, like, the times whenever he would be on that I would be here before I, like, joined, we already like got along well in those aspects.
Right.
He was, you know, as you know, since he's a great metal motherfucker, but he was a supporter through and through. And I mean, he ended up with every one of my Goremonger CDs and a whole bunch of other shit, you know, because he just genuinely wanted to support and like have that shit. So
Yeah.
I mean, like I was interacting with him on a couple different levels by that point. So once I came on full time, like it was just almost perfect, you know.
Yeah, I agree. It just fit like hand in glove, you know.
Unless you're OJ.
Unless you're OJ, then you must have quit. So now we use pretty detailed notes, especially in the murder segment. To me, I could not imagine doing this any other way. It's just so much stuff to remember, dates, places, people's names. I mean, it's
a lot.
Every week it changes, you know. But CK used very little or no notes at all. And I asked Laura about his preparation and kind of what it was like. So let's hear what she had to say about what it was like on Wild Man Street as CK was doing his thing. He was ridiculously skilled at being able to just riff on a band for virtually no notes, which always blew my mind because I'm reading off basically a script for the true crime stuff because there's no way in hell you could remember all those places and dates, and especially every week like that.
So much detail,
But he was able to do it with the bands just with very minimal, you know, notes. It's just unbelievable.
I have to tell you, his mind, Pete, he had almost like a photographic memory. If he looked up a band, which when he got the subject, whatever he was going to do that week,
right?
He was on. He was focused. That was what he was doing. He would study that band, but he didn't have any notes. I can tell you from watching him, he had no notes in front of him when he spoke, nothing.
Wow.
He had it. It was all from memory. He would focus on that band. And if he didn't have the band in front of him, like to listen to the music, unfortunately for me, he would order the CD.
Right.
And he would have it. And, you know, when I wasn't at home during the day, he would listen to every single song on that CD and he would read the liner note. He knew every detail, as you know, about every band that he did, all from memory. He would remember it.
Wow.
And so when he told you guys and he was telling you about the band and the things that they did, that was all everything that he studied like during the week.
Unbelievable. Yeah, he really incredible. And we've talked about his
crazy.
Chris, that's just crazy, man. To be able to do what he did with virtually no, or she's saying no notes. He did tell me there were a few times he had like words written down, but
nothing major. Yeah,
we're talking minimal at best. But wasn't that unbelievable?
I couldn't even imagine trying to do that at all, dude. Like, I mean, like, I couldn't tell you the album date it came or the date an album came out or anything like that without having
the
notes.
Producer who mastered the fucking
like how the
thing.
fuck do you memorize all that shit? He's good at it though, dude.
He was definitely an encyclopedia of metal. He would often joke about his chemo brain when he stumbled on a detail, but it was only a few moments before he was able to recall it. So he was impressive. I always thought it would have been cool to put him on a show and like grill him.
Oh yeah,
to see like how much he really knew. I bet he would kill it on like that one show, that metal show. I couldn't stand it because they played a bunch of lame ass shit.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But he would have been killer in that,
right?
Because they asked the audience questions. He would have been like lights out. Now, Laura mentioned what a tremendous memory he had, and so he would have had to remember all the shit that he did. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now, we also talked about his massive music collection. We've talked about it here. I mean, he joked around about, I've got that. He would have like an album that came out in like 4 colors on vinyl. He'd have all the colors.
4 of them, yeah.
The CD. I mean, it was insane. And Laura knew all about that. And we talked when I chatted with Laura about the record store that
Came and got it after he passed.
to purchase the collection. So let's hear what she had to say about that. Some shit. Now, you got a hold of who I hoped you were going to get a hold of to come and get that stuff with the collection. I'd love for you to talk about that, how that all came to pass.
Absolutely. Well, I had talked to Chris because I'm like, you got to help me out here. I don't know what to do with all this. And he said, well, I hope you're going to keep. I said, dude, keep it. No.
Right.
And Pete, you saw it. And then he had twice as much after the last time that you saw it. So,
wow.
He told me to contact Brian Gerosa of Gerosa Records in Brookfield, Connecticut.
Right.
Brian was a good friend.
Brian's awesome.
You know Brian very well.
Me and CK knew Brian for like the 80s back in the day.
I'm
and
sure.
Record Broker in
right.
Danbury was where we have both met him.
Yeah. And he was fantastic. I mean, I messaged him first just because I wanted to see if he was even interested. And he was like, holy cow, I am honored that you even think of me.
Oh, wow.
But he says, of course, I would love to come and look at his collection because he said he was always in Gerosa Records. So he said, I know his taste. And he said, I know he's probably got really good stuff there.
Right.
So he said, I'll come and look at it. And when he came, he was like, I can't even tell you, his face just fell. He was like, oh my God. I said, I try to tell you. I said, I gave him a heads up before he came. I said, I'm not exaggerating when I'm telling you, he probably has about 30,000 pieces here.
Wow.
And when he looked at it, he said, I'm thinking you're either right or there's more than that.
Man.
So he said, I'm going to have to consider how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to move it. But he said, I will take the entire collection.
Wow. That's
so
fantastic.
I was so thrilled because I was really.
Yeah, you needed to get rid of that so you could move. I mean,
yeah, that was the
way.
major thing because I had to go and I only had like a few weeks to do it. And he said, nope, I will take care of it. Pete. First, the whole thing was
how many people did this?
Well, you have to kind of go through it and set it up because the boxes of LPs were in the front. See, after you had been there, he had boxes and boxes to the front of the room of LPs, and then the boxes of CDs were in there. But as we moved on and started to kind of sort through stuff, we took the LPs out first, and we started to sort the CDs. We realized there were a lot more than we ever thought because there was a closet to the back of the room.
Oh, man.
Which was like another whole bedroom, this closet, and it was stacked floor to ceiling with CD boxes.
Gosh.
Those big Rubbermaid tubs.
Yeah.
So there was a lot more than we thought. And then there was
God.
a front closet and there was stacked with LPs, just stacked. So he went through everything. A lot of stuff was still in plastic. A lot of stuff hadn't even been opened, but he was like, this stuff is phenomenal.
Wow.
Like, he has everything of everything. And he says, there is stuff here that you can't get.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
Chris was getting stuff for these bands because he was doing this research for a lot of overseas bands. So he was ordering stuff coming from overseas.
Right.
So you can't buy that stuff in the United States. So he bought the entire collection, 4 days of moving. He had to hire movers.
Wow.
And I had to stop what I was doing and I helped him. His son came. So there was like 6 of us packing up this stuff because they had to keep bringing boxes upon boxes, plus the rubber tubs. And we just kept packing, but it was 4 days of packing all of this stuff up and moving it.
Wow.
I mean, I won't give the amount he paid, but it was a premium amount.
That's
because
fantastic.
he was just like, he said, ordinarily I don't buy collections this big and stuff because I don't have room. The poor man had to rent another storage unit just for Chris's stuff.
Wow.
Because he had nowhere to put it when he realized how much he had, but it was a premium amount. And I had a picture of Chris and I on the refrigerator and he patted the picture and he said, I'm doing it for this guy right here because this is phenomenal. So he messaged me like a few days later and he said, I have to tell you, he said, you will laugh at this, but I have been in the storage unit with Chris's stuff because he said, I can't walk away from it. Every time I'm looking at it, he said, I'm just amazed at what this man had. There's so much good stuff.
Wow.
So he went back to his store and created a special section of heavy metal.
I
and
saw that he
stuff
expanded
in honor
the
of
metal
Chris.
section. That's
Yep,
amazing.
in honor of Chris.
Wow.
And he said, you won't even believe it, but once that stuff went on the shelf, he said it was emptying out faster than he could keep it on the shelf.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Because
Wow.
he said kids were always coming in and asking for this music. And he was like, well, you know, I don't really have it because he didn't really think there was an interest, but he's like, holy cow, it's going out like crazy.
That's incredible.
So
Wow.
there you go. And he said,
Yeah.
he said, I'll have this. He said, I don't even know if I thought I'd have this stuff for years, but he said, if I keep putting it out and it sells like that, it's probably just going to all go at some point, you know, because everybody's into the music. So
Right.
it was good for everybody, but it just shows his taste. But when he was looking through stuff, he said he really had a taste of every kind of music because he didn't just have, you know, the heavy metal or anything. He had a lot of rock.
Mm-hmm.
He even had a lot of jazz in there. And I was
Wow.
surprised at that because
Yeah.
I didn't even know that he had that. And I'm not talking about like smooth jazz or anything. I'm talking
Sure.
about old time jazz
Yeah.
and things like that. But he had a very eclectic taste. He had a lot of everything.
He definitely did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool that Brian was the one to buy it, and that
I'm happy that he got it.
that he expanded his metal section. I wouldn't doubt it for quite some
yeah.
time
Yep.
with all of the stuff from the CK collection. So
Oh, I'm so happy that he got it, but honored too, because Chris really thought a lot of him, and I know you
He
did
did.
too.
Yeah.
And he was the right person for that collection.
Yeah.
That wasn't going to be able to go to just anybody. I mean, I could
No.
have pieced it out and sold it out, but
Right.
I think he was the right person for it.
No, I think you're 100% right. I think, like you said, Brian's a good dude. I haven't seen him for many, many years, of course, living out
Oh
here.
yeah, he was fantastic.
But he
I
was
can't
great.
even tell you.
Yeah, Brian Gerosa Records, just such a good dude. Been doing the record biz since the 80s when he worked at a place called Record Broker in Danbury. I used to go in there to buy my metal, and he used to ask me, because he's a few years older than me, he would say, hey, like, I don't know much about that underground metal stuff. Like, what should I order? You know, so I
Right.
was finding out albums like in the back of magazines and
Right.
shit. And I'm like, order this, order this, order
yeah.
this. And so he was ordering stuff, and then he was hooking me up with some good deals on shit
Right,
for that.
being influenced on
So
it.
I was getting all kinds of good stuff, you know, Merciful Fate. I mean, all that shit back in the day. Fate's Warning, all of it. Slayer. I got fucking Show No Mercy when it came out and fucking had it like right now. And just amazing. So Brian, Gerosa Records over in Brookfield, Connecticut. Go check it out, because not only is that a cool thing that he did, but what an amazing collection.
Yeah,
And you
that
could
big of a
fucking pick
collection
up
is
some CKs.
insane, dude.
I know he had all the low 12 stuff, so that's all in circulation now. Joey, your Goremonger shit.
Yeah, he had tons of
Yeah.
and other just
Tons
releases
of
on my
underground
label.
bands. I was
Yeah.
getting them all the heavy core stuff, you know, Roasting Posers, all the Core Till Death comps. So yeah, all that stuff is now, thanks to CK,
Go to
circulating.
Gerosa Records if you're in Connecticut. You might
Yeah.
fucking stumble upon a couple things you need.
I know I signed a lot of shit for him, so if you stumble on some low 12 or heavy core stuff, you might be able to find some signed shit. So that was just really cool to talk about that and to hear what, you know, where that collection
Yeah,
ended
yeah.
up. So
I mean, I knew, like I said, I knew we talked about it being big, but Jesus Christ, man.
right,
When you got to open
6 people for 4 days.
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous.
That's insane,
dude.
man. So we're going to talk about what he thought about Murder Metal Mayhem. Hell yeah. Some Merciful Fate, old school, Come to the Sabbath. Another one of CK's favorite bands, mine
Yeah.
too. we used to joke around when he would go in for treatments. I said, dude, I'm going to listen to Merciful Fate all day. Scare that fucking cancer the fuck away from you.
Shit, yeah, dude.
And leading up to it, he'd be jamming Merciful Fate. Because even though King Diamond went on to do solo stuff, the Merciful Fate shit is the evil shit.
Right,
you know?
right.
The satanic prayers and all that craziness. So we both love some Merciful Fate. So I had to do that just because I know CK would have loved that shit. So. Now, Chris, you and I started this, of course, together. We've come a long way.
Yes, we have.
How cool is it that we know how much that CK loved doing Murder Metal Mayhem?
Dude, it's awesome to know that he fucking loved it. Like, and we talked about it on the podcast, and we've talked about it like off the podcast when we weren't recording. Like,
Right.
we've been like, dude, fucking, I look forward to it every day, especially like when he's feeling down about anything. Give him something to look forward to in the week,
Right.
like brighten him up. Like, fuck yeah, this is what I'm about right now. So,
Yeah, I mean, think of most people going through what he was going through, guys. It would be the worst time of your life knowing you're going to die and it's going to be a long, drawn-out process because you're fighting it tooth and nail.
right.
That's pretty rough.
But he's just like, fuck
And to
yeah,
have that be probably among his favorite times because of this
because what he was doing
is
with us,
a fucking heavy fucking topic to even wrap your arms around, you know.
yeah,
So
for real.
you guys listening, all the feedback you gave, I mean, it went a long way, as you heard or will hear from Laura and Joey. It is amazing to think as the podcast gained with CK, so did he gain from the podcast. So it was really a two-way street, and it's just really cool that his love of metal has just radiated out 666 times, right?
Right, and everybody is going to do things in their own way and whatnot. And CK was like, like you were saying, for somebody that had the news that he had, the situation he was in, to maintain it so positively, that was like super motivational to watch that,
Yeah.
And for him, I'm saying, everybody's different, so it's not going to work for everybody the same things. But for CK, it was awesome, and the podcast is like, for real, it was like a therapy session for him.
Yeah.
That's something that you couldn't have fucking paid for to offer somebody in his situation
Right.
to know how much
Right.
it could help.
Right.
But you really could tell how much he looked
Yeah.
forward to it. He took it seriously, and
Yeah.
he was
Took
he
a
was
lot
really
of pride
about
in it for
Right.
for a good reason.
And in doing all of that, not that you're ever going to forget the situation you're in, especially like he was. It took his mind off of it sometimes,
Right.
and that's the most you can ask for.
Exactly. Now, I know he really loved being in that activity book that we did with him. That was cool.
Still available.
It's
Yeah.
still
Get
available.
that.
Yeah, he enjoyed writing the piece that he did for the book. And then, of course, the zombie shirts that Jeff Gaither did for us. He loved that because he was part of that.
Hell yeah.
And we still have those. So, the CK merch isn't going to last forever. I've thought about doing a CK shirt, which would be kind of cool. But we'll see. Got a lot of different things going on right now. I had the hoodie made with the T-shirt design for him. I know he really liked that. I surprised him with it when I sent him his shirts. I sent a hoodie with it.
Right.
And I always tried to do what I could to kind of help make his day better.
And let him know how much of a part of the show he
Yeah,
really fucking is
I
and
wanted
shit,
him to
like-
feel part of it. Like when we had like those pictures made, I mailed him a pile of them. He signed
Yeah,
them and
right.
sent them back. So when we would send them out, they would have CK signature. I still have some,
Right.
So when you buy merch from us, man, I'm sending stuff out like that. So when this website's done with the new web store, we're going to have some cool things on there, I promise. I'm actually meeting with the web guy on Sunday. He's coming out here to check out the studio and get started on both websites. So the writing one and the podcast one.
Web slinger.
That's right. Now, CK did play drums for a while in kind of a garage metal band. But I know, I've been through the band thing. I had a taste of some success with the band stuff, and it's a really cool feeling. Joey, you know how that is.
Yeah.
It's a rush to, have people buy your stuff and want to come see you play. And that sort of thing. So I knew he never really had that because the band he was in, I don't think did very many shows, but I wanted to put my writing on hold because I wanted to focus on the podcast because I wanted it to work. And I
Right.
didn't want to just kind of do it half-assed and then have it just kind of flounder and die, you know?
Right.
So I did that because I knew how much it meant to him. And in turn, like I said, he did so many good things for the podcast. So it was truly a two-way street. I also, when he was sick, I was getting a hold of bands like Fate's Warning about what was going on with him. And they were so cool about that. They got, calling him, and the original singer, John Arch, was calling him on a regular basis. The original bass player, Joe DiBiase, was calling him. I got him to do a meet and greet with them when they played in Hartford one year.
That's fucking sweet.
And yeah, I mean, it was really cool of those guys to do that for him. So that was just awesome. But those are the things I tried my best to do as much as I could for him. And I'm glad that I did because now I know how much it meant to him. And so we're going to hear Laura talk about that specifically.
I mean, he was a phenomenal guy. You know that.
Yeah, definitely. And he inspired so many people. We had that young listener from Arkansas, that girl, that 6-year-old girl loved CK. Her mom would edit out the podcast so she could listen to it.
That's fantastic.
Of course, only CK segment because pretty much the rest of it not
I
very
can't
kid
tell you
friendly.
how long he talked about that.
Yeah.
That made him so happy that a young listener thought that he was awesome and that what he talked about mattered. That was a big deal to him.
Yeah, well, it was a big
Because
deal to
obviously
all
he
of
liked
us,
that
but I can't
everybody
imagine how he must have felt.
Yeah, well, I mean, he liked that. So many people really liked him. But when he found out a young listener was into that, he was like, I've inspired somebody in the younger generation to like my kind of music. And that makes me happy.
That's cool.
That
I
was-
always
that was
talk to
great.
him about the way it feels when you're involved in something like that, because of course I played in bands for a long time. So I kind of have been grown very used to, but it's still humbling when somebody comes up to you and says, wow, I really like what you do, this and that.
Yeah.
So when we started doing the podcast and he was getting involved and he was real down on himself for being awkward and not feeling comfortable. And I told him, I said, just think about, how many people are going to hear what we do and for whatever reason be inspired to get up to go to work that day or come home from a shitty day and just laugh their ass off listening to some crazy stories from 3 guys just chit-chatting, and then it became 4 of us with Joey. But anyway, but Chris always CK always would talk about how, he thought it was really cool because he didn't get to experience like I did with the band thing and the writing and stuff. So he really felt like that was like his 15 minutes, which is cool.
Yeah. And I mean, it was nice for him too, because I think it made him feel good that what he said mattered. To people, and that he felt like he was really educating people with all of the information, that he was giving on the bands. And and I'll tell you that at first, like you said, he did feel awkward. He kept saying, I'm not that
he
good.
hated
I'm not as
hearing
good as the
himself.
other guys. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? You're doing a great job. You know exactly what you're talking about. I would listen in. I was always doing my own thing, but I would listen in, and he just you could just see his face would light up when he started talking about these bands. That was just like his element. It was that thing.
Yeah, he was ridiculously skilled at being able to just riff on a band. Chris, Joey, that was just really cool to hear that from Laura.
It's nice hearing it from her perspective, actually witnessing him doing the podcast and how much it, like she said, brightened his day up. And
I mean, that, like we've said, is worth doing this if even that's all it was for.
Just on the phone, as soon as you get that phone call, dude, it's just like, yep, now we begin.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, and every time I would text him, I'm like, all right, we're in the studio, we're getting ready. He'd be right back with, got it, I'm down, or horns
ready,
up, he was fucking ready to go. So, you guys out there listening, I wanted you to know just how much CK enjoyed spreading that vast metal knowledge that he had to you guys. So those of you who let him know how much you like the podcast are really awesome. And we're going to get into what the listeners thought of CK right now. Fucking A, man. Some In Malice's Wake, the song See the Light. If anybody out there that heard that and said, that sounds familiar, well, I've probably played it before, but it was also on the 666 Express.
Oh, yeah,
In
that's the song.
Malice's Wake was throughout. But that song was the song at the end when
train's
it's over,
going,
when it's finished. So they were a band that CK really, really liked. That was one of the rare ones I turned him on to,
Right.
so that was kind of cool. But it meant a lot to CK that Sean and Mark Ferrugia, both of the brothers in that band, that they reached out to him multiple times on Facebook Messenger, just like, hey, dude, just checking in.
Seeing how you're doing.
They were fucking super damn cool. They're both Australian, from Melbourne and Victoria, so just good dudes, great band. They're writing new music. I'm really excited. I'm going to be doing an interview with Sean in the very near future about that and some other stuff too. So I know CK loved them, so I wanted to make sure they were included.
Fuck yeah.
Joey, isn't it amazing how much of an impact he had on our listeners? I mean, just really unbelievable. We've been talking about it.
It's so amazing, the impact. The only thing that can come close to even trying to describe the impact of that is the impact of this Eggo Pop-Tart in my mouth. There's some good Pop-Tarts.
Hell yeah, they
Just so our listeners, you're not like, what the fuck are they doing eating Pop-Tarts? It's tradition. We
It's
talk about
tradition.
metal, we eat Pop-Tarts.
Right.
And we get our listeners sending us Pop-Tarts. We had Stephanie from the 419 hooked us up with a whole bunch of good ones. Joey, what are these flavored, the ones that we're eating now?
Well, we had Boston cream pie last week.
Oh, yeah, those are
That
good.
was amazing.
Yeah, these are Eggo waffle with maple syrup.
They're fucking
Wow.
so good. Dude.
Yeah, and then
They
there's some
are
apple
really good.
fritter ones we'll do another time. But
Yeah.
anyway, but
Thank
no.
you, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, no, CK, I mean, his impact on the listener, I mean, he helped, spread the word of some bands, helped get them out there, did his part. I mean, that shit's all important because that's like a whole nother thing that he probably had no idea he had the capabilities to do because he was always somebody that would buy and support. And I'm sure, whatever people he knew, he could tell about this band. But now with Murder Metal Mayhem, he had a little more of a platform that he could, really bring focus and attention to some of these bands that he was really into. And
I guarantee he is personally responsible for probably 4 or 5 different people getting laid off.
yeah,
At Indie Merch, Metal Blade, Relapse, Amazon, you name it. A couple people, Chris, lost jobs over CK not buying their shit.
Right, like what the fuck's going on?
It was insane. I mean, I buy a lot of shirts. I'll admit it. It's my thing. But CK put me to shame. I mean, it
Even with
was
shirts.
multiple things a day, every day almost. He was getting stuff. Forgot he ordered it. Like, ridiculous. You advance order shit. I've forgotten too. It happened to me once. I got it in the mail like, oh shit. But CK was all the time. Now, Chris, what about Joey, I wanted to ask you about that shirt that Stephanie had made for CK.
oh yeah.
What was that about?
Stephanie, and she's got 3 sisters, so the 4 of them. Stephanie she's my girlfriend. For those that don't know, we've been together almost a year and a half, but way before that, she was already a listener to the podcast.
Murder Metal Mayhem Love Connection.
Yeah, but she's been listening to the podcast for a really long time, so she was like one of the original listeners, I would say.
Yeah.
So anyhow, through us promoting Shakers and going there, and she found an interest in that, which is, of course, the haunted bar up in Milwaukee. So her and her sisters, all four of them, they went out there to go spend the night at Shakers and hang out and have a good time. And
Yeah.
they did. And whenever they went out there, she had these shirts made that had Murder Metal Mayhem on them and Shakers Bar, and it had like all their names or whatever on the front. And she also got an extra one made for CK, which she ended up sending to him.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So-
Hell yeah.
That was so cool. That was so cool. And then, Chris, what about that listener from Arkansas? Her daughter just loved CK, man.
Yeah, like you and Laura were talking about in the clip there, fucking just loved it. Like you said, it's our listener Elizabeth Washington out in Arkansas. Her daughter was 6 years old. Like you said, every fucking week, just take CK's bit and edit out the curse words as much as possible.
As much as she could.
Shit, yeah, but just loved listening to CK talk about music every
That's
fucking
awesome.
week.
Her
So,
name
yeah.
is Rachel.
Rachel,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's just so awesome to know that some little kid like that would have been that into CK. And it really, as you heard, from what Laura said, just really touched him. So that was really cool. Now, I had the chance to talk with our buddy Tex, our friend and fellow co-host. By the way, he heard our episode on Robert Durst. He heard me say that Tex needs to whip that Dick DeGuerin's ass, the lawyer with the fucking cowboy hat.
Yeah, yeah.
And CK or Tex said he would take care of it.
Fucking right, dude.
Tex is on it. So thank you, Tex. Don't get yourself in trouble.
He might tap in a favor from old Creole.
That's right. Yeah. Get one of the girls from the Boudreaux Inn to go down there and do the hit. Just kidding. Just kidding. So I had the chance to talk with him. So let's hear what he thought about being involved with Murder Metal Mayhem and CK. Or anything about being on the show in general? Anything you want to say to our listeners?
I really miss hearing CK on the metal segment, man. But
Yeah.
you guys are doing real well, passing the horns around.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we figured that was the only way to do it, is like,
Yeah.
do we bring in another person, just for metal? And then it would have felt like we were replacing CK, which we didn't want to do. And so, yeah, we pass the horns around each week and try to, because we have varied tastes. So we're not all doing the same kind of bands,
Yeah, I like Chris's segment. What was it, a couple of weeks ago? Ugly Kid Joe?
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
We had a few listeners today that they dug that one. And then we had one that we just read over the last episode, made a comment about Joey doing body count, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah,
that's,
yes.
That's,
yeah.
That's cool to have those different perspectives. So I'm glad that you look at it that way. I know we've had quite a few listeners when I asked. Very cool.
Always nice to hear
from our
Tex's
boy
voice,
Tex.
man.
Hell yeah. We got Tex coming up next month, one of the nasty females in May, or it's in May. Some of those nasty females. We got the whole month of May, some brutal women
Right.
again, Joey. It's going to be nasty. Some very obscure ones. So I think our listeners are going to get educated.
I think last year we did a good job.
We
Kind of
did.
mixing it up. So I think this year,
Yeah,
good
we picked some good
continuation.
ones. Picked some good ones. That one chick putting her dead kids in the garage in boxes.
Yeah.
That one's special. So we
Yeah,
got
it's
some
super
good
special.
ones. But it was good to hear Tex, and what he thought about CK. They were never on at the same time because of the way we record the show.
Right.
But they were on, of course, many episodes together. And I know CK really liked when we had Tex on. And likewise, Tex loved hearing CK, as you heard. So that's just really cool. And like Stephanie, he's been a listener since the very beginning.
Right. Yep.
So he's kind of heard the evolution or devolution or whatever you want to call it of Murder Metal
The
Mayhem.
devolution.
So, but I thought it would be cool to get some listeners to comment about CK on the episode. And Chris, you want to read the first one? Speak of the devil, 419.
419. Stephanie Ruskinoff. Hi, Stephanie. Says CK fought harder than more people could even come close to. I always enjoyed hearing his metal segment and listen to his lifelong friendships continue. Continuing during the show, he restored my love for Mr. Bungle and he is dearly missed by his fans. So fuck yeah, dude. We all know that's a real fucking statement.
Yeah,
right
that
there.
was well put, Stephanie. Thank you very much. Joey, what about the next one?
Rebecca Boomsack,
Of course.
super loyal.
Hell
She
yeah.
said, I wish I could have met him. He was one of a kind.
Yeah,
He was.
definitely. Very, very true, Rebecca. Another person that's been a huge supporter of ours. I really picked some good ones here because these people have been with us since the beginning. Justin Morris, our buddy, he's been on the show a couple times with us. I only met him through the headset and Facebook Messenger, but the little bit I got to know him makes me miss him a ton. You guys are doing great, keeping the metal segment interesting and informative, but CK had a special gift with his metal knowledge, but I'm glad you three dudes have kept it going. So
yeah,
thank
thanks,
you
Justin.
very, very much, Justin. Yeah, I mean, we're doing the best we can. Obviously, that's a tough act to follow, but the three of us, to our own credit, you know, we of course know a lot about metal, not CK level.
Right.
Maybe the three of us maybe
Combined, maybe?
could hold our own.
And of course, we have continuously kept in the Forgotten Classic. That was the CK thing.
That was totally
Right.
CK
He brought
thing,
that
yeah.
to the
That's
table.
true. That's true. All right, Chris, what about the next one?
And then
there?
we got Greg Stillbrook says CK was the best, hands down. No one knew metal like him. I mean, that seems to be the consensus. Like,
Exactly.
goddamn, dude.
Exactly. And then Joey, what about that last one?
Our last one's from Donna Edgerton, and she said, I always loved hearing his voice and how you guys would give each other shit every week.
Hell yeah.
I miss him, but you guys are doing a great job keeping his memory alive, and thank you. That's all we can try to do, really.
Yep, for real.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, that was great to hear from some listeners. So now we're going to talk about how we felt about CK.
Only from detected lies. Wake up from the daily nightmare. Cast aside the weight of mankind's fall. Not born for this world of existence. Infinity backwards with a muted call. Relinquish willful as I echo through your mind. Embrace the infinite insatiable desire. Consorting deleterious and so defiled. I'll wear you down until you want for nothing more. Or to weaken in the hands. Pray a reason for the end. Here we gather to defend. Pray the misery of the dead. Broken in the turmoil. Cut loose from the puppet strings.
Okay, another Australian band, some Harlot, the song Miserere of the Dead. In Malice's Wake and Harlot share a lead guitar player, but a great band. Andrew Hudson, the singer, guitar player of Harlot, another great guy. He also was reaching out to CK on a regular basis on Messenger.
Fucking A,
Super
dude.
cool dude. And CK loved those guys. He was the one that I heard them from. I never even heard of them before. And it was interesting when I interviewed Andrew from Harlot, and I asked him the question of what bands do you like that our listeners might not know about? And one of them was In Malice's Wake. And I thought it was a weird name. I'm like, In Malice's Wake? Okay. And I'm checking it out. I'm like, holy shit, you know, so that was a cool. CK turned me on to Harlot, but through Harlot, I found out about In Malice's Wake.
Right.
And I think, as we've said before, guys, metalheads are good about that, man. Like, love sharing bands with each
definitely.
other.
That's
And,
like
dude, have you
how fucking
heard,
metal gets around,
you know,
dude.
Skeletal Remains? Holy shit, man. I've been fucking going off on that, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So really, really cool that metalheads are that way.
The only thing metalheads love sharing together is needles, you liar. Fucking Satanists.
Now, Chris, did you want to comment on what you thought CK meant to what we did here?
Well, me personally with CK, like, I knew he was your friend, and when we started this, you were talking about having him come on, like,
Right.
when we first talked about it, was like randomly about vinyl or whatever, and you talked about him a lot, and then like me and him, like the first time we talked, like over the headset or whatever, dude,
Right.
like we were able to fucking like kick it off and talk like we'd known each other already, like we've
Right.
talked before and shit. That was really cool. And as time went on, it became more and more like I had known him for like way longer than I did. It felt like I'd known him years longer than how I had. And like,
Right.
even though I never
Well, talking every week, you know,
Yeah,
you don't talk to most friends every week, right?
Yeah. And he
You know?
he just kind of grew on me like a fucking brother, even though I never physically met him. We just it was just a great experience fucking enjoying that shit, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah,
loved
I
it, dude.
wish we could have got him out here, you know, but as he started getting sicker, it was harder
Right,
for
it
him
was
to
hard.
travel. Then COVID happened, and that was the end of that. Because they were going to come out here for the wedding, you know.
Right. And that,
But then COVID changed all that. So, Joey, what about you? Any comments, you know, just about CK and what he meant to Murder Metal Mayhem?
Yeah, I mean,
Or you personally?
he meant a shit ton to Murder Metal Mayhem, and yeah, meant a lot to me. I mean, that dude, for somebody who I've never actually met in real life, that's one of the, you know, people that I would consider like a friend, like a real friend, you know.
Right.
Never met him, and you know, and I always said like, because, you know, you, me, and CK, we all like, I'm from Connecticut too, so
Right.
I always said, like, if I could get back out there to visit some people, like, I was, you know, try to go see CK.
Put effort into it.
But
yeah.
everything
Yeah.
happened so fast after that, you know. But it was, you know, CK to me will always be an inspiration. Like,
Definitely.
watching
yeah.
what he went through and, like, his attitude.
Right.
Him feeding off what he was doing with the podcast and with metal and stuff, like obviously his wife was a big part of what kept him going too,
Definitely.
but also like what else he was doing at that time in his life was like fuel for us. So that was so awesome.
Right.
And you know, unfortunate not to bring up even more bad fucking news, but just lost Bob Shaw from, you know, a very aggressive form of cancer too. But it was so different. Like, it was like experiencing two totally different ones. With Bob, like, I thought that he was going to be okay. Like, it wasn't to that point yet. And, like, that shit all of a sudden, like, overnight, like, boom, he was gone.
Wow.
So that was weird. It was CK, it was like, man, you almost, you know, from whenever I started talking to him, whenever you guys started doing the podcast and all that, he was already terminal by that point.
Right.
So you knew that it was only a matter of time.
Right.
But
You hold out hope.
yeah, you
that
held out
maybe
hope.
a new drug would come out.
And he never, ever let on, you know, how bad it probably really was. So he kept things going in a totally positive speed. Everything he was about was just very motivational. And if you listen to him, even all the way up to the point wherever he knew that he just couldn't do the other podcast because
Right.
he put in 100% to every time he did it.
And
He would get upset if there was like fucking connection problems.
Yeah,
and
we
shit.
Yeah,
went
like what
through
the
that
fuck,
with
man?
Messenger,
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's awesome that he could fucking straight up joke about it because some of the stories he told about his bag, dude, just like,
Yeah.
bro,
I
what
know.
the fuck?
Yeah,
man?
he was
They just, like,
definitely all
fucking-
about the self-deprecating
Yeah,
humor,
he
that's for
fucking,
sure.
but he could joke about it and think it was funny and not care if anybody else
Yeah,
thought because it's
I
like,
mean-
hey, it fucking happens. This is my life, dude. Fuck.
Right. I mean, he just had a great attitude. I wish, you know, that, you know, nobody wants to ever be in that situation, but you'd hope that if you were, that you would have half the fucking guts
Right?
he had, you
For
know.
real.
It's cool that, you know, at what could have been the worst years of his life or whatnot. I mean, like I said, having Laura by his side is obviously the most important thing, you know.
Of course.
But even through that time, like for him to have grown with a podcast and to be able to start expressing his ideas and his thoughts on a subject that he loved.
Now it's
But
there
not only
forever.
that, like, you know,
Right.
he would be joking with you guys because, like you said, the comfort level between the podcast guys was so fucking
Oh, yeah.
immediate. But it was almost it was to the point that he created the WVK
Oh, yeah.
persona. And to me, I don't know, because I didn't know CK like, you know, that long. I don't feel like that's something that would have been too much in his comfort zone besides that.
Right.
It took something like the podcast for him to
Draw it
do
out
something
of
but
him.
he
like
had
that,
so
yeah.
much fun doing it, and
He
you could
did.
hear it.
He did.
That, you know, that's really cool that at that time of your life you could find some new things
Right.
to get excited about.
Yeah, because think about it too. I mean, when the pandemic was going on, I mean, here now just recently they're like easing shit up here in Illinois, but
Right.
but he was literally not able to leave that apartment. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, he
like
was
for
there.
a long time. I mean, the only time he went anywhere was to a doctor's appointment. And so he was, whisked away to those and brought back, her mom or Laura would do it. Just unbelievable. I mean, so to know that gave him something good to look forward to and made those, what would be in anybody else's, the worst years of their life.
Right.
Actually some pretty fun times because he felt the camaraderie with us, which was awesome. I also thought it was fucked up that the last thing I sent CK was a box of the no-name Pop-Tarts that he hated, the cinnamon and brown sugar ones.
Cinnamon.
And I sent them to him as a joke, nothing in it, just the box, just sent it to him. And he said, yeah, I got your Pop-Tarts today. And he didn't say anything like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, because he never opened the motherfucker's
So I
palate.
didn't know, did he even see it? I don't know. But I thought it was fucked up. That was the last thing I sent him. Of all the things I sent him over the years, that stupid box of generic Pop-Tarts was the last thing he got.
That's great.
Something else with CK is probably that's the dude who on my Facebook and shit, I probably posted more links and tagged him in music than anyone else, just because I knew that he would dig it.
Oh, yeah.
Or he would have the time
matter
to
what it
actually
was.
fucking pay attention and check it out,
Right.
And so, that I do miss that because I'll still find fucking music. I'll be like, oh, CK would love that, but can't share it now. But still like, oh, he would have loved that though. Yeah,
and that's like I'm wearing the Schizophrenia shirt. That would have been a band I would have loved to show him, to have shared with CK, because I don't know if he would have known them. Maybe he would have, but so many bands I've discovered since he's been gone, and I keep thinking like,
dude.
God damn it, like that would have been a good one for CK.
Fucking right.
So, as we said, we've been talking about the serious side of this, but his contributions wouldn't stop there, because as Joey was just saying, he started to take on a little bit of a more comedic role, and he got more comfortable in his celebrity. So now we're going to talk about the fun stuff, some funny side of CK.
Still from my pain, passed out from cell, induced fantasy, turn a page to justify. Conjuring power, it opens wide. On your seventh day, is that how it's done? Twisting your eyes to perceive all that you want. To assume from ignorance, inflicting wounds with a cross-turned dagger.
Wow. One of my favorite Death songs, Crystal Mountain, Joey, from Symbolic.
Hell yeah.
Such an amazing one. I know CK loved those guys.
Right.
But the musicianship in that band is fucking ridiculous,
the
man.
fucking guitar right there in that part of the
Wow.
song.
The bass playing from Steve DiGiorgio, Richard Christie on drums, just fucking insane. Absolutely insane. I remember doing that interview with CK. We did the Felipe Belalcazar episode. He was the one that produced that death documentary that was fantastic. And we talked to him. That was the first interview I think that we ever did together.
Sweet.
As we were starting to kind of learn how to do it, Well, CK definitely had a good sense of humor, as we've been talking about. Now, Chris, we didn't set out to do a comedy podcast. So how the fuck did we get in the top 200 of the comedy podcasts on Apple?
I don't know, because I think people are laughing at us, not with us. Fuck it.
Is that what it is?
But I don't know, man.
It's funny. It just kind of evolved.
It came across as just like, all right, we're doing this podcast. And then once you started doing it more, like more comfortable. It's just like now we're just talking like we talking shit to each other all the time, like we normally. People are like, "What the fuck did he just say, dude? Are you serious?" So yeah, I don't know. Just the way it turns out. Fuck.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. Now, Joey, we definitely love having a good time in here, and I think it shows when people listen to us. We started to introduce some characters that we would take on. So what did you wind up doing?
Right, Punky. I mean, that's a fucking big thing.
Oh yeah,
WVK fell into it, but like the beginning, kind of wherever I felt out that CK was a little more comfortable and like where I would have been more open to start fucking getting into it with him. What we ended up doing was whenever he first started coming on and you guys would fucking introduce him, he'd be like, my bitches.
Yeah.
They call you guys as bitches,
it's like this
motherfucker. And that shit was so fucking funny to me. So, like, I could see, like, that side, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, Stephanie, she suggested for one of the Mother's Day episodes, 2 years ago now.
Yeah, it's been a couple years, yeah.
But to do the Sugar Babe.
Oh yeah,
that's so bad.
Yeah, which was the the Vera Jo Regal case,
right?
Which is a horrible case.
It
like,
is horrible.
Like what happened is super terrible, but we kind of took a lot with it, and it ended
that
up
white
fucking,
trash family.
Yeah, and it grew legs and fucking just started being a thing. And since we do like we'll do the intros where we do voices,
right?
Like,
or
hey, this is,
like the commercials, or we just got various things that we do, and then we'll like just joke about shit. This one caught fire though, and it was just so funny. And then fucking, so I started doing the Punky Brooks character,
right?
Which I mean, that's almost before me and Stephanie ever got together. So
yeah,
this continued like further on into this. But then CK, we had just done the Murder in Minneapolis episode with Jesse, or Murder in Minnesota with Jesse Watson, and we did the Weepy Voice Killer on there.
Right.
And at some point,
he thought that was so funny.
Right. That was the funniest shit to CK was Weepy Voice.
Yeah.
So one day he just busted that out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure like coming out of Metal or something.
Something like that.
Just like, hey, yo, fuck it.
Yeah. Or I might have been talking about,
voice.
I think I might even have been bringing up Punky or something.
Oh, it was
like
so
right
funny.
after that. So then he brought him back. And like challenged Punky as WVK.
So then it became
like,
this heated thing.
It was a
really
rivalry,
funny.
like, and we were talking shit. And of course, we got the killer cage match. So we're like, man, we should do this as a cage match.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a thing. And like at this time, so me and Stephanie are together. So I was like legitimately going out to the 419, like,
talking
real.
shit to WVK.
Yeah, and
that was great.
And me and Stephanie, we actually went out to Findlay and went to Vera Jo Regal's grave, and we went to the home of Sugar Babe.
Right.
And
just walked in the house.
We didn't walk in the house, but we were across the street staring at it, like, and there was a Doberman inside looking back at us. But anyway, so like while I was down there though, I'm taking fucking videos, as Punky,
calling out
WVK, and I'm like posting them on the Facebook. So CK is getting a fucking kick out of that.
Yeah.
And then before we ever did the cage match, he did a fucking thing where he was talking shit about fucking Punky. So I came back and I fucking recorded a rap song at my house as Punky and then sent it to you.
God,
and then you ended up playing it on the episode for CK to hear.
Yeah, we're going to play all this for you guys.
So,
I
don't know.
Fucking funny.
Like we were talking about,
how this just kind of grew.
That was our personas. Like I was Punky, he was WVK. We had Text Me and Old Creole. And we were trying to get, Michael Joe Ball. It was so good.
Michael's going to do some Joe Ball. We need to get that going again because it's really funny.
But the first one, though, I mean, you guys are going to hear it, and for what it was amazing, really.
Yeah, it really turned out good. Chris, kind of like WWF style.
I mean, that's what it looks like to me. It's like, get in the ring, motherfucker. Yeah. We're going to fight. Fucking, it's all, like you said, persona. So, like, straight up WWF.
It's just a lot of fun.
It was one of, that was one of the most fucking, like, fan interactive things I saw, too. Like, our listeners and shit were fucking, like, commenting on that shit and like fucking
like rooting for one or the other and shit. Yeah.
I remember
you got this WVK.
Yeah. And we had like Punky. Michael, remember he had the lighters with the WVK and the
with the fucking Punky,
the red and blue ones. And Then I put Draymond's face on him, though. But there was just a lot of fucking funny shit that came out of that. And like,
Yeah, and that was our 3rd anniversary show. Was
Yeah.
a year ago that we did that. So
and CK, like, you could tell how much fun he
Oh,
had.
he was
having
when
a
he got
blast
into
with it.
because
WWK.
I got him to do a song in retaliation
He
to
did,
yours.
yeah.
So you guys both had
Yeah.
songs. We're gonna play all this for you guys. If you are a new listener and you're like, "What the hell are they even talking about?" You're gonna hear it. This went on in episode 134, as I said, on our 3-year anniversary show, which would have been last April 2021. So let's hear it. This is about 10 minutes, but I guarantee you will be pissing your pants when you get done with this.
That's fucking great, man.
It's good stuff.
Well, I'm gonna say we got something pretty special to get to here tonight, guys. We've got one hell of a killer cage match. All right, Chris, we have got a fucking crowd here tonight, fired up.
Damn, dude, it sounds raging in this bitch.
Yeah, I mean, they are fired up for this killer cage match tonight. We've got one hell of a matchup. Who do we got fighting here tonight?
We got WVK, man, the Weepy
Nice.
Boys Killer coming
He
up.
looks all jacked up,
Yeah, he
man.
does. He's jacked up, but we got that Crip motherfucker coming out with his boys from Finley. We got Punky Brooks.
Oh.
What up? Gang, G.
Punky's been antagonizing with these videos and shit. He's been releasing videos and antagonizing WVK.
Oh, yeah, the crowd is pumped.
So this is going to be fucking crazy now. If you remember right, Chris, last week, Punky released a video or a
fucking
song
video,
clip
dude,
like
yeah.
to get
the
people
song.
fired up.
Come on, that's
So-
that diss
so
track.
let's
baby.
let
I'll
our
be making
listen-
hits in the studio, dog.
Let's let our
Fucking ready,
listeners
bud.
check this out. Let's check this out.
Oh shit, up in the studio one time. Punky Brooks in this motherfucker 419 ho. Y'all be talking shit, but you don't want none of this shit right here, man. We getting fucking crazy. WGK, get the fuck out of here. When Murder Metal Mayhem Killer Cage match comes up, I'll be fucking representing. But first, I got something to say, homie. WGK, use a bitch ass lame. 419 ho, where we rep that game. Cry all you want, but I ain't gon' change. Cause in the killer cage match, I'll be eating your brains. You'll be weeping for days, crying more than the rain. Finley Crips, ho, yeah, rep that gang. You ain't got shit else to say while I'm hitting my J. Your skin's paper thin, I guess we'll call you CCK. Represent,
Wow.
motherfucker, we coming at you. 419 ho, watch out.
So, Chris, this is getting crazy. I mean, we got Punky making a song, getting WVK all fired up. So check this out.
That's the realest.
I'm sitting here
That's the
today.
realest, dog.
I'm sitting here today. I get an email from WVK.
Oh, shit.
And
what the
he's
fuck?
got something to say.
WVK be emailing like a nerd.
No,
Motherfucking
WVK's
nerd.
got something to
This
say.
one's dedicated to Punky Brooks and all the biatches at 419. This one's for you. Give it a listen, because I'm coming for you, Punky Brooks, you little fucker. Oh, yeah, yeah. Hit it, boys. Hear my weepy voice in the distance. Oh, make fun of me if you want. Oh, I'm coming to kick Punky sissy ass. Oh, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Broken teeth to the left of me. Oh, his little nuts to my right. Oh, ain't got no gun, no. Ain't got no knife, no. I'm still winning this fight. You know why? Because I'm WVK. I'm dynamite. WVK. I'll win this fight. WVK, oh, throw you in a ditch. Oh, WVK, I'm making Punky my bitch. That's right, Punky, you're going down. You and your inbreds are all going 6 feet under. I don't mean the band, bitch. I mean you and the others. Oh, fuck you for
Oh, God. So, this thing is getting just absolutely insane.
Oh, the ditch is ready.
Wow.
Okay, Boomer. Okay, Boomer.
Oh, my God. So, Chris, the stage is set. I think we're ready for this thing to get started.
Ass.
Holy shit, dude.
So,
I'm
fucking
ready to
dying.
put his 419 ass away.
Fucking dying.
Oh, my God. So, we got Weepy Voice and Punky here ready to go at it, Chris. They got a couple of objects they're going to fight with.
Just ring the bell, homie.
Just ring the. Hey, one of them's a
go.
cowbell, G. Just wait.
Oh,
One's
shit.
a cowbell, G. We got a cowbell. We got a chainsaw for you motherfuckers.
Oh,
Get in the ring.
man.
Both start with C's. Crip, what up?
Crip, what up?
And we've got an interesting variable in this one.
Intense, dude. Yeah.
Fucking junkyard dog, all fucking mad and
Oh, I
hungry.
forgot to tell you.
Eat balls, Chopper.
So we've got Punky Brooks. We got Weepy Voice Killer ready to go at it here. They got a chainsaw and a cowbell and a mangy junkyard dog who hasn't eaten for a week.
Man, it's like a dog in my house, dog. That's with a pet pig, homie.
All right, well, here we go.
You're talking mad shit, dude.
Well, here we go. Let's ring the bell and let's get this fight started here.
Fight, boys.
All right. Holy shit, man. Punky looks like he's coming at CK or WVK. Pretty strong here.
WVK, man. He's a bitch,
WBK
homie.
coming out, dude, like a fucking champion. But I don't know. Every time he hears
Shit.
somebody,
He's
he
trying
seems
to get that-
whine about it.
he's
So I don't know, man.
I see a chainsaw over there, though, homie.
Oh,
I
shit.
think I'm going to get that.
Whoever gets that chainsaw first,
I
man, it's
don't
going to be a
Oh, you
fucking
get the
bad
chainsaws, I'm
situation.
still gonna
I
kick
love
your
it.
ass.
Well,
Man, tie your motherfucking shoelaces together, bitch.
Weepy
What's going
Voice
on?
goes for the cowbell. I don't know what
Why you
Weepy
getting a
Voice is doing for the
cowbell
cowbell.
Maybe he's gonna smack it against his head like Will Ferrell and fucking Saturday Night Live.
Right?
More cowbell. That's what we need, dude.
Christopher Walken, you better get your walking crying ass up out this ring, huh? Fuck
I
crazy.
think we got a problem here, Chris. Or us. Punky got the fucking chainsaw.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
man. Oh, shit. Weepy Voice is running around.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, that fucking dog is nipping.
Get over here, WBK. Let me get that
WVK
leg.
swinging that fucking cowbell, just
trying to
hitting
get
him,
him.
pummeling.
More
Punky.
cowbell, homie. More
Punky's trying to get the
cowbell.
dog off his ass with the chainsaw. He ain't worried about the cowbell.
Cowbell's
Shit, man.
gonna
Have you noticed, though, that Punky's pants keep falling down? He keeps trying to grab
That's why you
his pants.
gotta don't sag, dude. Don't
Man, my
sag.
motherfucking bell, homie. My Gucci bell, homie.
Man, WVK is pummeling with the cowbell.
God damn, I dropped the chainsaw, homie.
Oh shit, the chainsaw's on the floor. CK, Oh man, he's cutting Punky up with the chainsaw.
Chris, how you gonna let this happen?
Oh man.
How you gonna let this happen, homie?
Oh, the dog's going fucking crazy.
He gonna cut my dick off. How y'all gonna let this happen,
Crowd is
homie?
going nuts, Chris. They love seeing the
Look at
blood.
it. That's spraying everywhere. The crowd in the front. It's like
Oh,
a
my
Gallagher
God.
show, dude.
Y'all some hoes. Y'all some bitches.
Wow.
Take
Well,
this one away. I'm
God
done
damn.
with him.
Y'all just cheated the fuck out of
they
Punky
just
Brooks.
raised up WVK's hand. He has won the
He has
match.
won
That's
Let's
some
talk
hoe
to
ass
him.
shit.
Chris, let's talk to WVK here
How
for
do
a
you-
second.
How do you feel about this win,
Oh,
WBK?
I feel fucking awesome. I just found out today. I did some calls. Punky's not a member. He's not a member of the Crips. They don't know who the fuck he is. He's not in their directory.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Damn, Punky's looking rough though. They're putting him on a stretcher.
Dude, fucking
Looks like he
hell.
almost cut his fucking arm off over there with that
I'm not done with
chainsaw.
that motherfucker yet. We're gonna have it again
You're
because
gonna
I'm
do
not
it
done
again.
yet.
Oh shit, dude.
Oh, wow.
I didn't finish the job. I didn't
Oh
finish the
wow!
job.
All right, well, good job, WVK. You are the winner here tonight. So
God
fuck
damn.
yeah, man. That was a hell of a
Yeah.
match.
I gotta get a Gatorade. I'm fucking tired.
All right, fuck yeah.
God damn it, that was fun.
All right, right. So Killer Cage Match.
Damn, dude.
That was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
That was definitely fun. I don't think I could do that every week. I really don't. That was pretty crazy. That was an engineering feat to pull that off, but like 17 things going on at one time. But it turned out fun, and
that was funny
good.
as shit.
That
Like
was
listening
good.
back.
You
to
guys
it
listen to the shit. You gotta let us know what you thought of that because
Yeah.
that was like pretty experimental, but
And when you did the punky song, and then CK got to hear
the fucking rebuttal. I wasn't expecting
and I was like, dude, we got to come back with something. So the first thought was we'll do another rap song.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, no, WVK is going to do a metal song or a rock song.
Yeah.
So then I thought the TNT thing came to me with the WVK.
I worked hard on that fucking thing.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, then he sent it to me, and I lined it up with the music.
Hell yeah.
I was dying, though. I wanted you guys to hear it, but I'm like, no, I want to surprise him. So
That was fucking good.
that was funny. That was funny.
Hope
So,
you all out there enjoy that shit, because goddamn it.
Yeah.
We sure the hell did.
It was. So, all right. So WVK is the winner. We'll see. We maybe have not heard the last from Punky Brooks. I can guarantee that.
Guarantee that.
you know that's right.
So, all right.
Oh man!
Oh, my
Listening
God.
to that, it's only been a year ago, but it seems like it was longer.
that was longer ago. But
Wow,
it's been
that
a while
was
since I heard it.
really
I was in
fucking funny.
tears over here laughing so hard.
Oh
dude. That
my
shit,
God!
It
that
got
was
chaotic
so
at the end.
ridiculous. Yeah,
That shit like came together really well.
Fuck
it
yeah.
really did.
Yeah.
You know, so for doing it live with the music or the sound effects going on and all that. It was. We had a very loose script with that. Just kind of knew what was going to happen.
It was fun. And CK
But
fucking
a lot of
the whole
impromptu
time.
stuff was really funny, you know, and
So
all
it was
the
much
little
like
things.
real wrestling.
It did almost.
A bit of a script, but
Nobody
add
was
a bunch of flavor.
Nobody
Right, exactly.
was thrown through a table though. We probably have
That's
to do
true.
that next
But
time. So
chainsaw though, dude.
chainsaw was brutal. So definitely one of the funnier things we'd ever done, and you know, because we did it live, made it that much more fun. It was like almost exhausting when it was over with. But definitely, I think we earned the right to bust into that top 200 comedy
definitely.
podcast. So thanks,
That's another
Apple.
part about that is like the fucking killer cage match and shit that brings it in more comedy
Yeah,
realm.
we do that every week.
Yeah.
Not crazy like that, but we
Yeah.
have a killer cage match every week. And so if you're new to the show and don't know what that's about, you got to go check out the podcast.
If
'cause
you're
that's
new to
what
the
we
show
do.
and you've listened to this episode this far without going back to check out some episodes,
Yeah, you got
it's
some
kinda
homework
weird.
to do.
Yeah.
Got some homework to do. Well, we have also done a lot of fun fake commercials. Our listeners know all about those. We have a blast doing that shit.
Fucking awesome.
I'll
shit.
write like 5 or 6 of them, and then when we're doing the like something like a bonus episode or something that's not going to take us long, we'll bust out some commercials. And Chris, sometimes you bring like your brother Michael over, or I get Jenny out here to do one, like a receptionist voice or what have you. And
Or whenever we have guests or we get texts.
yeah, we
whatever.
had Tex and Mrs. Tex on the last round. CK's done them. So I strung together 3 of the CK commercials that he was involved with. He was involved with others, but these were the funny ones that I thought the listeners would get a kick out of.
Magnata Animal Rescue, how can I help you?
Hi, my neighbor has several kittens in his apartment, and he's been talking all crazy, saying he wants to kill them and post a video of it on the internet. What the fuck should I do?
Well, do you have a cell phone that you can use?
What do you mean?
So you can take the video for him. I'm sure he could use someone to do that while he's killing the kittens. It's kind of hard to do both, you know what I mean?
What the fuck? That's sick, man. I want to stop him. That's why I'm calling you.
Well, at Magnata Animal Rescue, we encourage people to kill the cutest animals, so people will adopt the ugly ones. So killing kittens makes perfect sense. Adopt a goat with mange, or a rabid possum instead. Ugly animals need loving too.
You're just fucked up.
Thank you for calling Calendar Shoe Repair. We're cutting off your penis is an important part of your foot health.
Wait, hold on. I didn't catch that last part. Whatever, dude. I have a pair of work boots I need to have fixed.
We could do that for you, sir. Please bring us a half a cup of your wife's pussy juice when you drop the boots off.
What? I'm not married. Even if I was, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Did you say pussy juice? What the fuck, dude?
Sir, please don't use that kind of language. This is a respectable business.
For Christ's fucking sake, fuck off.
Oh, hi, I'm known as the Weepy Voice Killer. Oh, as you can imagine, I've been picked on my whole life because of my voice. Oh, it was not fun, believe me. Oh. But I didn't let that stop me. No way, Jose. Oh, now I'm an MMA fighter known as WVK. And I'm stopping ass in the ring every night. Oh, and boy, am I stopping ass. Oh, you can do it too. Let my motivational speeches help you come out of your shell too. Oh, all you gotta do is call me at 1-800-WEEPY-NO-MORE. And let's turn the tables around today. Oh, if you mention WVK when you call, we'll send you 2 of my motivational CDs for the price of 1. Oh, you can't beat it. If you don't buy them, I'm gonna have to kick your ass. Oh, thank you. Oh
my God. Another comedic gold moment with CK there.
Yeah.
Doing some WVK. Oh my God. Those 3 commercials are funny. Joey, you were involved with one of those.
Yeah.
And Chris, you were in the other one. But yeah, good stuff, man. We love doing those. Chris, what are those like when we get together and do those fake commercials, man?
Very fucking entertaining. like
just listening to each other do them, you know?
Then you're like trying to get through a part of it, like, especially me, dude. I'll be like,
well, a lot of times we make up the voice like in the moment.
Yeah, it's like,
so like you've done your Russian gone
Mexican,
yeah, Mexican fucking Cheech Marin shit, and it was just hilarious because it was just like it was natural and it was just really funny. So, you know, we come up with these voices, these weird personalities, like we do the punky ones, which are funny, and the Dr. Geen vagina maintenance, and some of the more, offbeat stuff we do, the dark humor thing. But CK loved doing those. It was really cool that we were able to involve him in doing those fake commercials. Joey, definitely always a good time, but CK definitely seemed like he was hitting stride with the WVK thing. He really loved that.
Yeah, shit was great. And I mean, to bring it back up, when we did the Killer Cage match, I mean, another pretty incredible feat of how we did it, just recording it like we did, is that CK was in Connecticut.
Right. So he can't see us.
So you can't see each other, right? So the fact it went as chaotically and smooth as it did, it was just fucking meant to be. Like,
right.
That
it wasn't like a table read where we're all sitting there looking at each other. I mean, we 3 are, but he was remote, not being able to see us or us see him. So that natural body language, you don't have it. But because we had such a good rapport doing the show all these, few years we've been doing it, it just seemed like it worked, even though that's tough to do when you're not looking at somebody.
And if you're listening to the episodes in succession, you'll know that the last fucking commercial you heard was the Joe Ball one last week.
Yeah.
Which CK was in that too.
Yeah. That was a good one too.
Ass cream.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we definitely enjoyed going down memory lane with you guys here with some of this funny stuff, but there would be some more difficult times with the story of CK. But in the meantime, let's jam some fucking metal.
I'm waiting in my cold cell when the bell begins to chime. Reflecting on my past life, and it doesn't have much time. 'Cause at 5 o'clock they take me to the gallows.
Fuck yeah. If you guys haven't noticed, I definitely went over the typical 30-second sound clip.
Right,
Some
yeah,
of
for the
these I
song.
just couldn't do
Necessary.
it justice. It's a CK episode. We just
gotta
didn't
go
do
with
it. And doing some Iron Maiden and the song, of course, Hallowed Be Thy Name. I gotta say, if I was to name CK's favorite metal band, I would have to say it was Iron Maiden. I mean, again, a tough call with this wide range of music that he loved, but Iron Maiden definitely among the top, if not the top CK.
Hell yeah.
You can't really go wrong with that track anyway.
No, it's amazing from the Great Number of the Beast album.
I remember fucking, because whenever I grew up, I was a skateboarder, of course, so that was like my fucking life. And Toy Machine put out the Welcome to Hell video, which was like, that was fucking huge shit to all the skaters back then. It was like the rawest motherfuckers doing the biggest, baddest shit. And Jamie Thomas was a boy from the Midwest who fucking was a badass skater that went out to the coast and fucking, you know, came into his own. But his segment in that video fucking was Hallowed Be Thy Name.
Oh, cool.
And we used to just fucking love that shit, watching him just fucking kill shit and listen to that song. And it just went so
Great
well
song,
together.
man. Great.
Yeah, and for like covers, I'm not as huge a fan of this band, but as far as covers, fucking Cradle of Filth did a cover, Hallowed Be Thy Name. That's fucking amazing.
Oh, I've never heard
Oh yeah,
that.
it's
I'll have to
no,
check
yeah,
that out.
It's
it's a
phenomenal.
great fucking cover.
Well, I'll have to check it out. Well, it was definitely good talking about all the positive stuff about CK.
Hell yeah.
But, of course, when you're talking about the story of a person with terminal cancer, it's going to be a tough one. And as the summer of 2021 wore on, I was starting to notice some of the early signs of CK not being as sharp as he was. I remember talking to him not long before that, and I told him, or I asked him if he would promise me that when the day came that he couldn't do the show anymore, that he would bow out and he wouldn't make me have to tell him, like, dude, I think you're done, you know, which I would have absolutely despised doing.
Right, just let it go as long as possible because you knew how much it meant.
Right, it would have killed me to tell him he was done. So he promised me he would do that, and he did not let me down. The last episode that CK did with us was episode 154, which came out October 14th, 2021. And that was the one, guys, we featured Brian Ward in the Dark History Convention that was coming up. And CK did his last feature on Fear Factory. So that was the last band he did.
You have to listen to some Fear Factory tomorrow.
Yeah. When we were doing the remote episode that next week for Halloween, which was recorded at the Painted Wraith, we were doing our feature on witchcraft, and CK was supposed to be on that one to talk about the band Witchcraft, but was not feeling well enough to do it.
Just can't do it, man.
So things had to kind of change up there, and, you know, obviously, you know, with CK having a lot of near misses, there were how many times we got the call that it didn't look good, and then he's pulling out of it, you know.
Again, yeah.
So you don't really know what's going to happen with CK, but Joey, you had to wind up doing that feature on Witchcraft.
Which was fine because, I mean,
you knew
it was
the
a
band
I was familiar with. But that was tough, though, because just as resilient as CK was, I mean, horns from the hospital bed and everything else.
Right.
You know, for him to actually be like, you know what, I can't do this one this week, that was pretty telling, like, unfortunately. Like, you don't want to, you know, face shit, but...
like he knew.
And that was also, I'm pretty positive, that was the same week that they had hospice come in.
No, hospice had been there for a couple weeks coming in.
But still, like, yeah, they were already there.
It was building.
And all the positivity was really cool to see coming from CK. And he was like, yeah, we got hospice in, but, you know, it's just to help Laura out. And it's like, that's cool, man. But you have other people that are like, know about this situation, telling you, unfortunately, whenever that happens, usually it's a fast progression to the end.
Right.
And you're like, man, you don't want to fucking think about it like that. But yeah, whenever he said that he couldn't do that week, like, that was pretty telling because he had never done that.
Yeah,
No.
I can only imagine how much it, like, hurt him to have to do that. When it's in your head, it's like what you look forward to every week, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right.
Now you just got to, on your own, just be like, I can't.
Yeah, and I think it was the next day, that Wednesday, I think was the last time that he had spoken, like, coherently. Was Laura's mom came by to drop off something for CK, And so she talked to him for a few minutes, but she said he seemed somewhat out of it, but he was responding to her.
Right.
And then everything beyond that was not much. And so he was definitely going down quickly. Thursday, which would have been October 21st, was when I knew things were really heading in a bad way. Laura was letting me know, things were not looking good. Like you said, hospice had been there. Her mom was helping out. They lived in a second floor apartment with some really steep steps. So that couldn't have been easy on her mom having to deal with that. And then obviously trying to get him out for doctor's appointments weren't easy. Like I said, Laura was just unbelievable through this whole thing. What she went through at CK, and then, they got a hospital bed in the apartment to keep him comfortable. And then, Laura at that point was helping him set up to do the show. But early in the morning on Friday, October 22nd, 2021, CK passed away quietly at home with Laura right there by his side. So, Chris, even though we knew this was coming, this was still pretty devastating news to get. You know?
I won't lie. I was surprised because I was on my way to work when you texted me. I was like, like we were in the car and Michael was just out of nowhere. I'm looking at my phone. I was like, oh, fuck, dude, this sucks. And Michael somehow knew too. He just like, wow. CK passed, dude. I was like, yeah, how the fuck you know? He's like, I don't know. Someone told me fucking. And it's pretty fucked up though.
Yeah.
Even, like you said, even it's coming, when you hear it, it's still like
totally shocking.
What the fuck just happened, dude?
Right.
You want to talk about dedication on CK's part though? Before he passed, he had 2 studio setups because he had his normal studio setup that he had going on whenever he was doing the podcast. Right. And then whenever he got sicker, he had another one that he had Laura help set him up on the couch, I believe.
Yeah.
So he could lay down because, he was out of energy and all that. But, yeah, even though he knew that his whole situation was changing, he was bringing Murder Metal Mayhem with him.
Right.
To wherever he went.
He was going to do it. So that was some dedication.
Yeah, because he lived up till, 3 or 4 days after he would have done his last episode.
Yeah.
So that's how close to the end he was doing this. A week before he passed was his last one that he did on Fear Factory. So, holy shit. Definitely devastating for everybody. CK is buried at St. Mary's Cemetery in Bethel, Connecticut, near his parents and brother. Definitely a rough time. And I had the Dark History Convention to do the following day, that Saturday, the 23rd, which was not easy. My son Joe was able to come and help me out that day, and had a lot of listeners come up to the table and want to talk about it. So, with it being so raw, that was not easy to do. But in a way, it helped because it was good to talk about CK, and they wanted to know about what he was like and, what kind of person he was. And, of course, talking about all the bands that they knew about now because of CK, so it was therapeutic in other ways. So,
sure.
And listeners were posting lots of things on the Facebook page about CK, which was awesome. And Joey, we've come up with a new thing to cover the metal segment. So how did we decide to do that now with CK gone?
We weren't gonna just fucking disband the whole metal segment. CK would have fucking hated that.
Oh yeah.
So we weren't going to do that. As part of the 3Ms, you can't take one of them away,
right?
And so we thought about it, and we decided that since Chris, Pete, and I, since we're all into metal and we're all into our own style of metal and everything else, so we can also bring a lot to the table as far as like explaining a band or whatever situation. We're like, well, we'll keep it going like this, but we're going to rotate. And so we go every 3 weeks. We all have one, and we do it in succession and pass the horns.
We got the real goat horns, Chris, that we actually physically pass the horns to the next person.
Your turn.
So
sometimes I forget. I just sit here until I'm like.
And we, like I said earlier, we kept the Lost Classic. We still do that.
Yeah, we do a Lost Classic, inspired, of course, because CK came up with that. The CK thing is very confusing because I'm looking at CK behind you. So, but yeah, I mean, we knew we had to continue doing it, and I think we do. The justice. It is fun getting to pick a band when it's your turn. I think it's fun, and I love hearing the bands you guys pick and learning stuff about bands I don't know anything about. So, I know CK would love the fact that we continue doing it. And we've gotten plenty of listener comments. Justin pointed it out, and others that they like what we're doing. So
CK would honestly, like, with the interviews we do and some of our metal segments, he'd probably be like, "You pussy should have been doing that the whole time with me."
Right. What the fuck are you waiting for? All right, so we're gonna keep going. We're gonna hit the outro.
What to say? Don't be hasty. If you're good, I'll let you see where I hid the 33. Little dirt with a twist of lime does a trick every time. I'm the guy who lives next door. Everybody's under the floor.
Fuck yeah, Chris. That takes us back a ways.
Yeah,
huh?
Who was that with that beautiful voice?
Low 12 and the song Crawl Space. And, of course, listeners, that's our theme song. Of course, we used the very beginning of it, so you don't hear that part of the song. But I don't know if that one's available streaming. I know there is some Low 12, but the Flesh of the Week album I don't believe is streaming. But we did have a fan made a video for Crawl Space that's on YouTube. Nice. So there is that, which is cool. The way he did it, it's a bunch of pictures. He put together a fan video for Crawl Space, so that's cool. But I have Flesh of the Week albums like a fucking furniture upstairs in my house.
Like a furniture.
I got plenty of fucking boxes of CDs. So if you want any old Low 12, get a hold of me. But that's the song because CK, as Joey said, was a big supporter of what he was doing. He was also a supporter of Low 12 when I was playing with them. We put out 6 albums, 2 DVDs, and CK had all of it, so maybe some of it is still over there at Jerosa Records if you're over there near Brookfield, Connecticut, to pick up some of that. We hope you guys liked doing the way we did this special episode on CK. I think we tried to do it justice by telling the story, but also having some fun with some of the hilarious shit we did together. Yeah. We didn't want this to be a downer. As we said earlier, we wanted it to be more of a celebration. So, bumper music tonight, guys. Quite a bit of it.
Yeah, there is.
Chris, who did we wind up playing tonight?
Fucking mixtape.
right, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah, we got Fate's Warning, Crysis, In Malice's Wake, Harlot, Death, Merciful Fate, Iron Maiden, and Low fucking 12.
Fuck yeah. Full of metal for CK, just like he would have wanted. I like that, Joey. A little CK mixtape there. So, also, huge thanks to Brian Jerosa of Jerosa Records in Brookfield, Connecticut. Go buy some stuff there. That is just such a cool thing he did. Laura really needed those CDs out of that apartment so she could move because she had to get a different place in a hurry. So, Brian was great. So, again, thank you, Jerosa Records. Murder Metal Mayhem intro music by, of course, Low 12. We've been talking about that. Thank you to Rebecca Boomsock for sponsoring the podcast this month. That was awesome of her.
Appreciate it.
And check the episode description for a link to the Dick Trickle Memorial Project because her dad was the fucking crew chief, man,
Dick Trickle. For Dick Trickle.
And Rebecca raced as well. So very, very cool. Huge supporter of the show. So thanks again, Rebecca, for a great thing you did for us this month. Check out murdermetalmayhem.com to listen to all the past episodes. here very soon. I've been talking about this. We're going to have a brand new website. We'll link to all kinds of things and little samples of stuff and be able to order the shirts and the Murder Metal Mayhem activity books and my books and really all of it. So hopefully you guys will take advantage of that when it comes out. And of course, we're on social media. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We've got our YouTube channel, Chris. We talk about that.
Yep.
A lot of stuff on there now. Keep adding stuff to it. A lot of, interviews we've been doing and segments of the show that are available there. Watching us do the fake commercials.
Yeah.
A lot of silly
Fun
shit. Yeah, Brutal Vocal Academy.
Yeah,
you know.
fucking little Pete, when he
Little
was
Robbie.
Yeah, little Robbie. How old was he?
Oh, he was like 2 or 3, maybe. Yeah. Maybe 3.
Damn.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. So check us out on all the different podcast platforms. Leave us ratings, comment. It helps people find out more about what we're doing. Support the show by going to that 666 Club, patreon.com/Murder Metal Mayhem. For just $3 a month, you can help pay the bills here and get some bonus shit with that. So, all sorts of discounts on merch, the show a day early, the full interviews as soon as I do them. Like when you guys get them, they get them. So $3 a month.
Fuck yeah.
That ain't much at all.
Fuck. All right. Well, we hope we did you justice, CK.
Yes, we do. Fuck yeah, man.
So until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
And always keep your fist reaching for metal knowledge.
Fuck yeah.
Mother, man.